It's 5 o'clock, so we'll open the Rules and Legislative Committee. All the members are present and accounted for. So I
Second.
Aye. Move to approve.
Okay, second.
I move to approve, and Commissioner Epperson moves to second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we're ready for three, I believe. Are we two?
Public comment period.
Okay, public comment period. I didn't see a list outside. Does anyone want to speak on the public side? Of course, you're welcome to speak on any issue if you need to. Being none, we'll go on to item 2 is consideration of placing the April 14th, 2026 commission minutes on the May 12th, 2026 commission meeting agenda.
I
So
make a
moved.
second. Without a recommendation.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The third item is consideration of placing notary applicants. That's on the May 12th, 2026 County Commission agenda as requested by County Clerk Donna Thomas.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the reports. The first one was a veterans report. It was in our packet. They were 75 visits in March at the office, and there were 55 veterans that were transported to the VA hospitals. Is there any questions for Director Ely? And he may have one update on something else. Okay, is there any questions for Mr. Ely? Hey, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Okay, the next is a clinic report. It was in there as well as usual medical report where 73 patients were seen in March. And the dental report, I believe there were 58 patients seen. Is there any questions or discussion concerning the community clinic report? There being none, we'll go to the next one is Ag Board.
We didn't have a meeting due to too many farmers cutting hay, and we also had a lot of them out of town, so we didn't have a quorum, so we didn't have a meeting.
Okay, the next is update on the Joint Senior Property Tax-Free Study Committee. Commissioner Maddox.
Bedford County could possibly do what many other counties have done as it pertains to a senior citizen's property tax freeze. And I want to first and foremost say that I appreciate the opportunity to go through the journey as we have gone through the journey. This is something that we have not only considered, but it's something that we've studied as a group. I want to give a special thank you to Councilman Blevins, who many months ago, he and I had the conversation about the what if. What if we could do this? What if we could do this for the most vulnerable folks in our county? And not only did Councilman Blevins latch on to the opportunity to hopefully bring it forth to fruition, but Councilman Blevins, quite frankly, did 99% of the legwork. And I want to tell him publicly, I really appreciate what you've done. I also want to say thank you to the folks that served on the committee. There were many great folks that served. We had city folks on the committee. We had county folks on the committee. And I feel like that the conversations were extremely productive. There were a lot of things that came to the table that we were able to discuss as a body. And I feel like that those discussions, again, were very fruitful. I feel that we've done the right thing by studying this. It's not something that was just brought forward. It was pushed through, and then all of a sudden it goes to the floor for a vote. It's something that we have taken into deep consideration. I do feel that this is absolutely what is right for those senior citizens that would qualify for this property tax freeze. I feel like it's the right thing to do. You know, if you look around, it doesn't take but just a moment to realize that the cost of living is going up. And it doesn't take but just a moment to know that folks still are struggling. And the folks that would benefit from this senior citizens property tax freeze are, again, some of the most vulnerable people in our county. And not only that, but they're folks that help build our county. They're folks that I feel like have deserved the opportunity that hopefully we can give them as a commission. It will be my suggestion, Mr. Chair, that we send this to the Finance Committee for review, and simultaneously we move forward and we send this to the commission for a vote in next month's commission meeting. What do you
I'll
think?
make that motion. We did send it without a recommendation because we felt like the city was on the board, on the committee. The county was on the committee, so we didn't want to recommend to the city what they should do or the county what they should do. So we said we're just going to send it with a recommendation. That way everybody can have all the information we have. Everybody, all the commissioners, all the city council can have everything to look at. Send it to the finance, let them come up with what, they have. And then all the commissioners have a vote that way by looking at all the information all the city council people do. So I make a motion that we do send it to this month's finance and also then put it on the May commission agenda for a vote.
I second.
Blevins, do you have anything that you would like to add? Or
No, ditto everything he said. I agree that I think we gave it a lot of study. I feel like it's a good thing for the seniors in our community. We've obviously, a lot of us have heard in the last couple of days from people that got their reappraisals in the mail, and obviously this does not address that situation. Anything that's done now is for next year. So we're looking at next year's, after the reappraisals have already happened, we would be freezing them at the rate that they would be paying next year. So I've got we did get the state gentleman came in and he gave us the final numbers for what we would actually be looking at. There's two income levels available, $43,780 and $63,470. Just my personal opinion, this wasn't the recommendation of the committee. We had a lot of back and forth about workload and the amount of pressure this could put on some county departments. I don't think we need to eat the elephant all at once. I think you take it a bite at a time. I would start at the lower number which is the minimal amount of impact on those departments. It would get us about 200 more seniors that we would be able to protect their property taxes than we're currently able to under the relief program. As we learned in the study, the relief program stays in place. That's not going anywhere. So we're helping 500 seniors with that. This would up that number to roughly 700. That's just an estimate till applications came in. That puts a minimal amount of extra work on the trustee's office. That's 200 more than they're looking at now, and also doesn't throw the full 15 to 1,800 on the properties assessor's office that we looked at in the study as well. So that's the least amount of work for them. We had some talk about the fact that obviously there's no immediate financial impact to a senior when this comes into place. This freezes their taxes, but unless you raise their taxes, they don't get $1 in the mail. This doesn't erase your property tax bill. We understand that. What this is an insurance policy for our low-income seniors. I personally have $94.38 comes out of my checking account every month that goes to a company, Grange Insurance. They've never sent me $1 in the mail. They've never even sent me a Christmas card, but I pay for that insurance every month because if I need them, hopefully they're going to answer the phone and they're going to be there. And that's what this program is for our seniors. It's not an immediate dollars into their account, but it's insurance for our seniors so that going forward they can have peace of mind that their property tax is not going to go up as long as they continue to meet the qualifications, which are income-based. And that's the whole reason we brought this forward. That's why I would like us to at least give it serious consideration and get it to some kind of a vote. So, and I'll be making the same presentation at the city. So, and happy to answer questions as.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not really a question, it's this.
Yes.
Thank you guys both for what you did, because I think it's needed. And I think something else we lose track of when we're talking about all these seniors are calling us about their appraisals. We can't do anything about that. There's another negative here with these appraisals, guys, to these seniors. You don't think your homeowner's insurance is going sky high after this? The insurance company, your house was worth $200,000, now it's $500,000? Well, that same person, and this just shows that we're trying to do something to help them, because it's not gonna be pretty. These insurance companies are going to raise these homeowners rates on these seniors too. I just wanna point that out, and I wanna thank all y'all and your hard work, and we all really appreciate you.
Are there any questions for Councilman Livens?
I'm all for this. I think I'm all for this. I think this is a wonderful program, something I'm glad that we're doing, and I think we need to move forward on it. I guess one of the question I got is that when we did charter from the county side, we chartered this committee to study, the motion that was made back in January is that, said it would come back to the Rules Committee, then to the Finance Committee.
Correct.
And then on to the commission. So I just think, we just need to be sure that the Finance Committee, that you present to the Finance Committee,
Absolutely.
and that the Finance
yeah.
Committee, gives a nod that, yes, we're for it, or, or we need to do this or that, whatever. Can't
Yeah, and
speak
we-
for them.
As far as information, we've included everybody. You've all gotten emails, I believe. They've got the actual information
Yeah.
already in their hands. But yeah,
Yeah.
they meet, I know, next week, and I'm
That's right.
yeah
next
happy
Tuesday.
to.
And
we're
so,
happy to
I
meet with them as
I
well.
just think that
Yeah.
they would need to give their approval that, yes, let's
Yeah.
go forward with it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was in the motion, so they would get that too.
Well, let me make sure our motion is to send it to Finance Committee. Is that our motion?
That was my motion.
Motion's also to have it sent and had on the agenda for next month. The reason being is if you wait another month, we need to vote on it, you're gonna be going into the budget the next month.
That was our original motion to create it, was to go to finance, not go to the commission, because we specifically said, and I said that we weren't recommending going to the commission. We're recommending going to finance. And what finance does with it, that's up to finance, not us. We don't have anything to do with money. That's finance.
That motion,
Correct.
I believe, said it was to be placed on the May agenda though, wasn't it?
Yes, that was the motion and second.
I don't know, I'm talking about what's on the floor. I don't care what's on the floor. They made a motion to make, and if I was listening correctly, wasn't that the motion, make sure it was on the.
That was the motion. Yes, finance first and then on the May agenda for the commission.
That's the motion right now.
Could it just be contingent upon finance approving it? I mean, we can't, if we make a motion that it goes to the commission, whether or not finance approves it, then we're just saying finance doesn't matter.
Well, finance would just recommend what they would
Yep.
do, up or down, and we would vote if we want to do what finance recommends,
Okay.
if it's gonna cost more or less or whatever,
I-
because
I-
we need to do it before the
I'm just
budget.
looking for procedure here. What if finance says, no, we gotta look at this and we don't wanna move forward yet?
Well, then that didn't follow our.
Their finances,
Once it goes- I think it needs to be on the May agenda. I certainly do. Because they've studied 2 or 3 months, and we've all heard it 2 or 3 months, and it's time for the commission to vote. And vote up and down on the commission. Now, I don't mind going to finance, but there's no money there. In my opinion, it didn't have to go to finance. If y'all recommend it go to finance, then fine. I don't have any problem with it going to finance.
that's what we voted on in January, is for it to go to
I
finance.
understand that, and that's fine. I agree. That's fine.
So,
Can't finance make a recommendation just like we are, up or down, it still go to the floor, and it'd be favorable from this committee, unfavorable from finance, the commission votes on it, it's that simple.
yes,
If finance wants to do that, that's up to them. But I think our original motion was to send it to finance. We asked about finance, and this is going to cost money. There is money involved in here, and that's not our purview under rules and legislation. That's finance's job for them to look at it, because I don't know how much it's going to cost, and I don't know if there's another option, and I don't know what other opportunities may be out there, because we all want to help people, and we're all in favor of doing something. We just want to make sure with taxpayer money, we're doing the right thing, and I don't think this committee is prepared to make a decision to send something to the floor without having finance company
Well, and
community look at it.
it comes down to this. It's, even if we knew to the exact penny and we knew everything all about it, as a rules committee, it's the finance's responsibility for finance. So we don't want to usurp finance's responsibility, no more than we would want finance usurping rules. So, we have to give our respect and our nod to finance for their part of it.
My question is there not $100,000 that's been earmarked for this all along? Is it not? Is
that
so?
was for the tax relief.
Tax relief, okay.
tax
all right.
But Rhonda also stated in our meeting that she has already put 2 employees and a fourth of a car in the budget for this year for this particular thing. So that's already in the budget for this year of what she's asking for.
Just to sum up my feelings, I have no problem sending it to finance. I have a concern recommending it go to the floor in May with a recommendation from Rules Committee, but I would be glad to recommend going to finance.
Well, that was the motion.
Well, and I would be happy to say, I recommend it going to the floor, provided that finance is okay with it going to the floor. It would take both to say yay.
I believe that, I believe that we've studied this. I do. I believe that we've studied this, and I believe that Councilman Blevins has done a great job of consolidating the recaps and sending out the information. And we as commissioners, it's a part of our job to stay on top of that communication. It's our job to go through the packets that we get every session. It's our job to stay on top of our emails. It's our job to ask questions of our constituents. It's our job to be informed at all times, the best that we can. And I feel like that since January, we've done a good job of making sure that we've kept the right stakeholders in the meetings. We've done a good job of not only keeping the right stakeholders in the meetings, but the main stakeholders in the meetings. I feel like that the information that we have is out there. I think that commissioners should have a pretty good understanding of what this is all about at this point. I feel that Finance Department should have probably already have taken a look at this. However, and I also feel, though, that we should give them the respect to ensure that it's presented in a way and spoken to in a way at their next meeting that they can weigh in. But I'm tired of kicking the can down the road. I mean, it's time to do what's right. I mean, this has been something that's been discussed for years, and the cost of living is just going to continue to skyrocket. And if we don't do something now, we're all going to be ashamed of ourselves when we have folks that are having to leave their property, that they're husband worked for and passed away, and you've got, there's all kind of scenarios. And I know that's a sad story, but y'all were living in a time where those things happen. I heard something in one of the discussions, and they said, well, how many people are actually evicted from their home based on these situations? And you know what? I'm not surprised that we don't have a lot of people that are not evicted from their homes, because those people, they pick themselves up by their bootstraps, and they do exactly what they're supposed to do and what they're going to do to make sure they don't lose their house. So for 364 days a year, they struggle to make sure that they pay their taxes on that 365th day. My opinion, Mr. Chair, is that we send this to the commission for a vote as we simultaneously update the finance department.
Can I, just a second, Commissioner Farrer, back to your point, Commissioner Maddox, it's not just they're getting evicted, they're being felt like they're forced to sell their property and their home. That's part of the problem here with some of these seniors, is you feel like you can't pay it, so you sell, and you wouldn't have sold if it hadn't been for this. That's another good point. I just wanted to add to yours.
Commissioner Fair, we agree with you. Everything you've said, we agree with. If you want to follow what we said on the very first meeting, send it to finance, and we're there. And you've followed every single step that we've asked you to do.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
In the minutes, what we approved with the 5-0, in other words, not opposed, Anita put the motion forward, and I seconded that motion. We said this committee would report back to Rules and Legislative Committee, and then on to the Finance Committee going before the Bedford County Board of Commissioners.
That there's a flexibility there. I mean, that can happen simultaneously. Mr. Chair, I believe that I've shared with you what I feel. I'll turn it over to the committee to make the best decision.
Well, the motion is to send it on to finance. The question is, and they certainly have the opportunity to do what they want to with it, but in my opinion, if they won't vote it down, fine, but it still needs to be placed without a recommendation on the commission committee. We always do that. If we deny some request, it still goes on the agenda, correct?
Yes.
Now, they cannot approve it. They can do what they want to, and that's fine. And they can give all the reasons why they don't. But I do think it needs to be placed on the commission agenda for a vote. Now, they can discuss it all they want to, but something needs to be done, yea or nay, and it still needs to be placed on the agenda. And I believe that's what this motion said.
That
to be
it
on
is.
the May 12th agenda. And I'm ready for a vote from this committee on that, and then it does go to them. Okay, there's a motion and a second. I heard the motion and the second. Now, is everybody ready to vote?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
No.
Okay, it does pass. 3-2. Okay, split vote. Okay, we'll go on the next agenda item. Next one is bridge naming. Of course, we needed a month or two for that. We did have the petition with 25 signatures. So if you look at our rules, and we'll go through them generally, it's to be associated with the life of a person significant and in the area of the property. And that's District 4, isn't it? Is that District 4?
It is.
That where we are? That's other commissioners there. Do y'all have any input about it? Have y'all heard, have you had any opposition or anything? Because it's in y'all's district.
None at all.
Well, good. I haven't either, and it's all been favorable. But
Everything I've heard is
that's the
favorable.
first thing. Okay, second thing, Stanley has been deceased for 1 year. The third thing, the family does approve. If it's approved, they will pay for all expenses. I think she's agreed to do that. He was a public servant for many years, 20, 40? But how many was he, highway commissioner? Yeah, I was thinking 20 on that. But he did have a long distinguished service. He did represent the people with honor and respect. He did have moral principle and intellect. He was active in the Calvary Baptist Church. I know every Thanksgiving for years he had a big Thanksgiving dinner there for all the public servants. I mean, it was huge. And people came from the courthouse and everywhere else. And he did do community service. He had dedicated hours in community needs and worthy causes. And we do have a petition of 25 persons. So I think we met all that. Is there any other comments to Any other commissioners have any comments, or anybody, commissioners in the audience?
I would like to make a recommendation that we name the bridge after Stanley. Like I said,
And I'll
everything
second.
I've heard's been
Okay, there's
positive.
a motion to second. Any other discussion? Okay, being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Good, passed. Okay, next, we got, in new business, we got rezoning. We got Cesar Gamera Diaz and Jimmy Paniagua, Guay probably. Request rezone 2640, Highway 41 North, map 048, parcel 033, .10 from A1 Agricultural Forestry to C1 Rural Center District to allow grading, office, and parking storage of construction equipment. It was with a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission with one member abstaining. Okay, it's open discussion, and we got the, Chris,
Mr. White,
White's here.
could it be okay for Mr. White to
Well,
approach and
absolutely,
tell us about
yes.
it, what we're
Okay.
talking about here?
Good evening. Yeah, this is a piece of property that is close to proximity. It's close to the intersection with Highway 270 and Highway 41A. You'll note where there's a Dollar General there. There's a wrecker service, a couple other things that are zone commercial. And last year, the family came to us and wanted to rezone the property C2. When it got to the Planning Commission level, you know, C2 is a commercial district that it's a little bit more intense than C1. It allows uses that are kind of outside of the norm for the more rural areas, the more crossroad community type areas that we have in the county. And so the Planning Commission gave an unfavorable recommendation, and it went to you guys. It went to the County Commission, was voted unfavorably last year. In the rezoning world, you have to wait a year to come back. And try. This year they came back, asked for C1. The type of business that they have is suitable for C1, and we were not opposed to it this year. Planning Commission forwarded it with a favorable recommendation. Now it's with you guys. If you may notice, if you've been up 41A North lately, there's a place on the right that they built a really nice new, looks like stone fence and stuff. They took properties neat as a pin. They've done a really good job.
So we're comfortable having the C1 zoning and not the C2 zoning that we initially
That's
talked
correct.
about?
It adjoins other C1 property as well, so it's not a spot zoning issue.
I move that we accept.
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, passes. Okay, I do too, as well, want to thank the Senior Property Tax Freeze Committee. They've met several times. They're to be commended. Commissioner Maddox and Epperson served as well as County Mayor, and we appreciate their service as well as Councilman Blivens and Councilman Feldhouse, as well as the City Mayor, Randy Carroll. So we do appreciate their input.
Rhonda and Tanya.
The trustee, Tanya Davison, property assessor, Rhonda Clant. We do want to thank them, and then we'll see how that works out. Any announcements? Being none, is motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, adjourn.